Hi, and welcome to this tutorial video for Prog 1210 Rapid Application Development. This video is the first in a series of videos covering security using ASP.NET Identity Objects. I've started by creating an ASP.NET web application called Security Video, and I've added a few web forms to it already: login, register, and welcome. The web forms aren't active yet, because before we can create the login and register and welcome pages, we need to set up our site to use identity and to use OWIN for security purposes. The first thing I did was add a database called users.mdf into my app data folder. This database is going to hold our user store. To create it, I right-clicked on app data and selected add SQL Server database. The database is empty now. I haven't added any tables or anything inside it. We're going to rely on the user manager objects to create those tables for us later. The next thing that we need to do are add all of the packages necessary for us to use identity and OWIN. In order to do that, I'm going to right-click on the name of the project and click on Manage Packages here. The dialog box appears showing us all the installed packages. You'll notice I have none installed at this point. And we need to install packages referring to identity and referring to OWIN. So I'm going to choose Online here on the left, and then pick All. Then I'll use my search box in the upper right here to search for packages relating to identity. So our search results appear here, showing us all of the different packages that we can download for use with identity. Our version of identity that we use in class uses Entity Framework, so we'll have to make sure that we download that one. It's the first one here on the list, and you can tell that you're getting the right one by looking at the ID here on the right. So you want to make sure that it says Microsoft.ASP.NET.Identity.EntityFramework. So we'll click on Install next to that. We have to accept the license when the license appears. Click on Accept here. And we let all the packages install. We'll have to do this a few more times to make sure that we have all the right packages that we need. I'm just going to pause the video while the install happens. Now that the install is complete, you can see the little green checkboxes next to the packages that we've installed. So we've completed the one for identity using Entity Framework. We also need this package here for identity OWIN. So on the right here, the ID is Microsoft.ASP.NET.Identity.OWIN. We'll install that one as well. Accept the license. And now our installation is complete for that one. While we're doing the installs, it's a little bit faster if you just install all of the packages you need all at once. During class, we did this in 2 separate steps, but we already know that we're going to need the packages for the OWIN host system web. So I'm going to use my search box here to find that package as well. So find the package relating to OWIN.host.systemweb. I'll just pause while the search happens. There it is. Okay, so right at the top of the list, we're going to install this package as well. And now we've got all the packages that we need for our use of identity and OWIN for authentication. So we can go up here to installed packages, and you can see all the different things that have been installed for us to use as references. So I'll close this here. If you expand references in the Solution Explorer, you'll be able to see all of the new things that are in here as well. So there's all the identity and OWIN references existing there for us to use in our code. The next thing that we need to do is create our connection string. Now, when we use identity, by default, it looks for a connection string called default connection. So we're going to have to write that connection string into our web.config file. So I'll open up this file. and we'll create the area for connection strings. So I'm going to put our connection string section right in here, right after the system.web tag. And if you've already created a different database in your project, there may already be a connection strings tag, but if it's not there, we can add it simply by typing in connection strings, like this. So inside here, we're going to add our connection string, and it has to be named default connection. So we'll put in default connection as the name, and the connection string itself looks something like this. I'm going to pause the video while I type it. So here's our connection string. It begins with data source. You'll see the type of database that you're using, and then we'll see after that attached DB file name provides a path to the database file. Initial catalog gives us the name of the file, and if we scroll over, integrated security equals true. Now I'm going to make a few changes to this. This is the one that I was showing you guys on the slide, but my database is named something different, so I'm going to remove the word band here, because if we look in our Solution Explorer, my database is just called users.mbf. So we'll change that and change this initial catalog as well to the name of our database. If you're using a different version of SQL, you can change that in here as well. My version here is v11.0, but there's all different versions that you can use. The last part of the connection string that we need is the provider name. Now my file is an SQL database, so I'm going to put in provider name as system.data.sql client. So all of these were taken just from the example in the slides. The only thing that you'll ever really need to change is the database version here and the name of the file, which appears here and there as well. So now that we've added in our connection string, we can take a look at our Server Explorer. And if we open up the data connections, we should save this first and build. But you'll see over here we've got a data connection called default connection, and that will serve as the connection to our users.mbf database. So as you can see there, it's empty right now. So at this point, our site is all set up. We can start working on the registration form and the login form.